Hey, what's up internet? CJ here and welcome to 52 Fridays, the video series in which I'm going to be uploading a video every Friday. Probably sick of me saying that by now, but anyway, still at it, still going for it. But this time I'm going to do something a little bit different. In comparison to previous weeks where I've sat there and I've used either pre-recorded scripts or done it on the fly or had a cop-out episode or two, this time I'm just going to be talking as I'm recording and going to be talking about a game which I think a fair few people should check out, one that probably went under the radar of most people, and that's Darkest Dungeon. Developed by Red Hook Studios. They got the funding via Kickstarter, and it's one of the more successful campaigns that actually went on when Kickstarter was a thing a little while back. This game is a dungeon crawler with an ever-evolving party of your choosing, and that will become more apparent in a minute. But yeah, let's just dive in. But what makes this game so much more different than other games is its stress meter. So you're going to go into these dungeons. Now, these dungeons, it sets in Hamlet, which is kind of almost like a border town between Earth and Hell. There's some kind of nth dimension feel to it, where underneath the manor, which is now just an absolute shambles, it's well, as the guy there just said, it was the envy of the land. But now underneath, these monsters have taken over all sorts of places underneath the manor, which actually turned out to be a labyrinthine type area, which now we're going to explore. Now, saying about the stress meter makes it incredibly different to other games. I will show you. Up here, just underneath your level of your character, you have stress, which is based out 200. Now, under 100, you don't do anything really, obviously, aside from increasing or decreasing. And when you're in the dungeon itself, there's traps. Enemies have moves which increase your stress levels. While might not actually do any damage to you, it will stress your character out. Now, when they reach 100 stress, they will kind of lose it. They'll like mentally break, basically. And from there, they will either go crazy or they will gain a, well, I don't know, their resolve will kind of come through to its fullest. So, for example, with Percy, he, earlier on in a previous run of mine, I took him into a dungeon a minute ago, he reached 100 stress and went paranoid. So when I tried to heal him with another character, he refused it because he thought that the character was trying to kill him. It's that kind of thing. But then, on top of the stress, you have quirks to your character. These are kind of passive abilities that run through your character. You can get rid of the bad quirks by going to the sanitarium, and you can plop them in here and get rid of it for a set amount of money. But a lot of these things are quite expensive, so I try not to do them as much as possible. But moving forward, these quirks, they can be anything from just a -1% on a critical hit to really random things, like if the torch that you use in the dungeon's above 75% brightness, shall we say, he gets more stressed. Apparently he likes the dark, and when he gets healed by like a stress heal, he'll get 10% less. But you get in like sort of things like this, so weak grip on life. When you get to 0 HP, instead of just dying, you go onto death's door, and it gives you a chance to kind of bring your character back. They get more stressed if they're on no HP, understandably, you're about to die, or they will, on their next turn, if they get hit again, they will just die outright. And in this game, it's permadeath, our old good friend, so you will never see that character again. I don't use Felonius that much. I think I've used him once. My most used character is Dismas, my little highwayman. He's like kind of a roguish style character. He's, as you can tell, he's got quite a few quirks going on with him, and he's abusive when he reaches 100 stress. So abusive, he will have a go at your other party members that you take in with you in battle and increase their stress rating, or he could make them miss and stuff like that. So yeah, I just came out of a dungeon run, so I'm going to put a couple of people to relieve their stress. So for example, Morisco, he won't be able to meditate, and because he's a known cheat, he's not allowed to gamble either. So I will take him to pray to a higher power. And the penance hall, unfortunately, is taken up by the caretaker. The caretaker actually spends a lot of his time in the brothel, which I think is quite sad, really. The pleasures of the flesh. So Moresco's in. I don't really want to put you in there, but I guess I have to. I'll put him in the gambling hall. And Percy can relieve his stress by getting sex. Okay, that's out of the way. Oh, Reynold. You're not God-fearing anymore, are you? Cool. Suffers intense need to do specific actions. So that will, in the midst of battle, I won't have control over him. He could just do whatever he wants. He could just stand there and pass the turn and get increased stress. Which sucks. So, peace through meditation. That's nice, isn't it? Okay. Musaden, I haven't really got the money to do that, because when you use stress heals and when you use the sanitarium, you have to pay money for it, and at this moment in time I don't have much. So once you're in here, you can go to the stagecoach, see if there are any new adventurers willing to join the roster. At the moment I have 15 slots available. You can increase it by using some of the deeds and crests that you get by dungeoneering, shall we say. Dungeoneering. I like that term. Let's do a quest, shall we? Do a short, nice, easy one. Just to show you all what's going on with this game. I'm going... flawed release. Stout. Yeah. Let's use you. I like you a lot. Typically. Fear of Unholy. Yeah, I won't use you. We're going into the ruins, which is full of the undead, so I don't really want her to kind of go crazy in the midst of a battle. Oh yeah, you're my new character. I'll throw you in there. You can pop items onto your character, so you can customize them. So for example, Vipon there, I've popped Bleed Resist and a man at arms only eye patch, which gives him increased dodge, but at the cost of getting stunned or slowed more. He's also an egomaniac and a masochist when he gets incredibly stressed out. I'm becoming very attached to my characters that I've got so far. But you say that, I got very attached to this guy here, Offrey. He was one of my best bounty hunters, and he was abusive as well. Very rude guy. But I miss him. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Let's throw in Pierpont. I like her. She's very good. Very, very high damage output. Very strong. Just with that wicked hack. High critical chance as well. And she can remove the standard debuffs that you can get onto a character. So the Blight and Bleed. Blight's kind of like poison, and Bleeding is exactly that. So once you've selected your party, you go into this screen, which is the provisions. So you want to take... you take torches in with you. You take food. So when you're dungeoneering, your characters will begin to get hungry. If you don't take any, then we get stressed out. So I take 3 full loads. It also, when you're just moving about, you can use it to regenerate HP. Not necessarily what you need a lot of, though. Anti-venom. Yeah, I'm going to take one of those. Bandages are very handy because they staunch the flow of bleeding. And I think that's all we really need to take in with us. So torches are essential, and I'll show you why in a second. Okay.
Things must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Right, so we are in the dungeon now. The layout is in the bottom right-hand corner like this. And this is actually a very straightforward dungeon. Quite easy enough then. Happy days. All of the dungeons, like the layouts and everything, are procedurally generated. So you could have what they say is a short quest with a very limited number of rooms, but it could be in a block of 9, which like you have to travel the hallways all the way through, and it would be an absolute pain in the arse to do. So we've actually been graced by the RN Jesus, and we can have a pretty standard run. So, as I was saying earlier, once you're in the dungeon, you have a lot of obstacles, like as you move between the rooms. That's the aim of it. You go between the rooms, you pick up items, and you fight enemies, and from there, hopefully, you come out with all of your characters intact. So,
The cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
So a bunch of rubble. When I began, I just went clear the I just clicked on that because I thought it was just, oh, we'll use the shovel. No, you have to click the shovel. It pays to read, kids. It really pays to read. Clear that off. Now, we're talking about the torch meter earlier. At the top screen, you have your torch. Every step you take will lower that light and decrease your accuracy, make more characters stressed out, and give your opponents the upper hand when you're going through the dungeon. So, there, as you move from block to block, it gets lower. And unfortunately, we still got surprised even when we had a really bright light. Okay. I'm going to swap around. So, basic battle screen, each character on the left hand screen has their own separate abilities. You can swap them out when you're in the town. It does cost a bit of money to alter their abilities and that, but and it's all position based. So if I highlight pick to the face, there it shows on the left hand side of that ability box 4 yellow dots. That's where your position is on your side of the screen. Now, the 3 red dots on the other side are who she can affect on the enemy team. So, with that, for example, she can hit the first 3 enemies, but the one at the back can't get hit. She can only use the lunge ability when she's in the back 2 part of the party. And the poison darts can affect any one of those 4, should she want, and it's only accessible from the back 2. So, I'm going to swap her out and bring Pierre-Pont back towards the front because that's where she actually does damage. And it's a standard turn-based affair where we all take turns to attack. And I'm just gonna, with her, yeah, we'll just hack some damage in there. She has a fairly high damage output. Now, Gwennon, my new character, I picked her up from the stagecoach because she has lots of heals. I like lots of heals. How much damage does she do? Oh, it doesn't say. Let's try it anyway. A critical strike. Beautiful. Okay, so in Darkest Dungeon, if you happen to get a critical strike on the enemy team, you will lower your stress. And it pays quite well to get a high crit build. There are tons of streams online where people have been absolutely like high critical hit builds, so their stress meter's low, but they're kind of glass cannons, so if they get hit again, they're dead. Man at Arms, sorry. He's a very good class for buffs, and he has a bit of damage on him, but not too much. So I'm taking a little bit of damage right now. We got debuffed. We're gonna, we could bleed should we want to. Every character has a dodge chance, but right now we're just taking a bit of damage. I'm going to throw a poison dart at him. So he's got contracted the blight, which gives him 3 damage every time it comes to his turn. Let's just heal you. So the way I set it out is kind of like how I do in most RPGs. I have one guy who kind of takes a lot of damage. I have a very high damage output dealer. I have my damage over time / glass cannon, which is my grave robber right now, and then I have a healer. But the healers in this is quite good because they have abilities that can stun at the same time, so it's pretty handy. This one we are just gonna wallop him on the face. So as you saw there, they take the blight. When your characters take the get contracted like the blight, you can use the anti-venom in order to take that away from you. You can use items in battle only if you get like damaged by a certain affliction. So for example, the anti-venom, or if you're bleeding, grab a bandage. Now, man at arms, I'm just going to increase the speed and the dodge chance of my characters. I thought I was going to kill them. That's upsetting. I'm going to bellow the enemies. So, with that bellow move, you decrease their dodge and speed chances. It's pretty handy. Oh no! How did you let me down? Oh, ref. It's cool. You're still alive.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
And I'll just give this guy a massive pick to the face. So, you get spoils at the end of it, so you just take all of them. I'm going to swap her back over there. And we march on. Now, Iron Maiden. It's a bit of a luck-based thing again. You can open it, you get loot, or something bad could happen, like you get trapped inside and then you become claustrophobic. Luckily, we had the good version. I'm so glad that I haven't got any of my failed... I haven't got a failed run on here so far. I was praying for it not to be a really bad one. Certain characters in the game have the ability on this bottom right-hand corner of the screen to scout ahead, and it tells you what lies ahead. So in the corridors, if there's treasure or room battles, or when you get into the next room, if it's a battle with a chest or nothing in there whatsoever. Unfortunately, we don't have that right now, so we're just going to keep marching on, prepared for anything that comes towards us, I hope. Okay. Okay, so that got trapped, and she would have bled if it weren't for the fact that she didn't. Apparently she's really resistant to it, which I enjoy. Okay. That was bad timing. You get a pick to the face. You get murdered. You're going to swap with her. And you are going to shine holy light upon thy enemies. Okay, so I was saying about earlier, that doesn't do considerable amount of damage, but they contract diseases, and she got stressed. And she got stunned. That's a really shitty turn. Don't contract a disease. So diseases are passive, well, damage, passive things that happen with your character. I'll explain it more in a second. Let's kill these mother lovers straight away. Why does my Vestal have an increased chance of critical hits? I mean, I'll take it, but very weird. Okay, so
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
okay, so Pierre Pont, my Lancer, she's called a Hellion. I prefer Lancer. She's contracted the Black Plague, so she's got load speed, smaller maximum HP, and she's very, very, very susceptible to both the blight and a disease in particular. So I'm probably going to be throwing her in the sanitarium when we get out of this. She is a known cheat. She's claustrophobic, bloodthirsty. That was a really weird one. I came across a bunch of bones and apparently she just became fascinated with it. Anemic and very much a stress eater. So I try to keep her stress levels down as much as possible, because that stuff there, that will go in an instant. She'll just be like, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat, and do it permanently. So lucky enough, didn't have a room battle. Got ourselves a free torch. Happy days. Okay. Now they're surprised. Time for us to take the initiative. I don't have any initiative. I'm going to use that opportunity to heal. Poison dart to you at the back because you are a royal pain in the arse who gets everyone stressed out. Oh, wonderful. They all get debuffed. And you, I'm going to slap him in the face. Ooh, baby! I like critical hits. They make everything worth it. So this game, obviously, while I'm showing you right now, is a very easy run. If you're not paying attention, very, very high potential that you will die. But at the moment, we ain't doing too bad. I had a run the other night where I was doing very well up until a certain point, at which it turned out that I came across a monster who was incredibly strong, and he almost wiped my whole party. I think I had one member left that I managed to escape with. 3 guys died. It was very upsetting. But you take these characters through, and then you get a larger and larger roster. That you then hopefully start to get veterans, and from there you begin to take on the more difficult dungeons. So this is a short dungeon run. There are medium and I think they're called veteran or long runs, and the medium runs require you to camp inside of the dungeon itself, at which point your characters have a different set of abilities that you can utilize in order to do that. But that's a story for another time. Give us fat loots. I don't want just 100 coins. There are enemies around here somewhere. There they are. Now, these two in the middle are going to be the targets. This Bone Courtier and a Madman. They do damage, but it's more about the stress. I'll get him poisoned up. And she'll poison that guy next. So everyone's just getting stressed out. I don't want to get stressed out because then they start to go crazy. Increase our evasive chances here. I'll heal. Was it Woodford, I think her name is? Oh, so good. I will feast on your heart. She's very aggressive. I like that in a lady. Critical strike, okay. It only did 1 damage, but I will take it. Use you to permanently heal people from the back. No, don't tempt her. I think Gwennon's the one that fasts when she's over 50% stress, so she just doesn't eat. You're getting very, very high stress levels, though. I do not enjoy this. Die. Why are you not damaging? Okay, I'm just going to go for the Hail Mary. Worth it. Nice.
This expedition at least promises success.
Does it though? I don't like it when the game says stuff like that, because that's when the stupidly hard monsters come out. And then next thing you know. So she just got blighted, so I just used the anti-venom in order to prevent her from taking any damage over time. Let's go to that one. I'm going to let you open the Iron Maiden. Oh my god. Because she's fascinating with fucked up things. Okay. I'll accept it this one time. Okay, so on the map, there. That's a trap. So coming along the floor in a second. Okay, never mind. They are hungry. So as I mentioned earlier about using this food. I only use 3 food. I'll use that to heal my Pierre Paul. So along the ground here on this right hand side is a trap. So if I manage to click it, there you go. We disarmed it. So I won't get any damage when I walk over it. She's going to get stressed the hell out in a second. Oh wow. Because he's egotistic, he's going to go in and pray to himself. Oh my god. They're here. No? Okay. Well, that's what you get, Vipon. That's what you get when you decide to praise your own stupid man at war shit. Okay. So, my characters have decided to take a very predictable turn in terms of their attack rotations, but at this moment in the game, it's something that works. And until I get enough money accrued so I can start upgrading their weapons and that, I'm comfortable just spamming these low-level runs up until they get to a point where they're too weak, too experienced, and then they'll turn to me and say, "Nah, don't want to do that anymore." You're gonna get healed. Ooh, critical heals. Just dodge it. Why didn't you dodge it? At least none of these enemies here are able to stress my characters out. Because otherwise, I think my character at the back, Pusho, I think her name is, would be a little bit buggered. Okay, I critically stroke when I shouted. Because that's a thing that happens in video games. Smite thee down. I think that actually gives me a little bit of torchlight. No! Wow, my torch is really low right now.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
I love the narrator in this game. He comments on your battles when you get critically strike, or if you get a kill with damage over time.
Gains purchase. Spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Pardon my reach. That's a new one. Heal you back up because you seem to be the target of their affections. You mace him in the face. What's your quarrel with my Vestal at the back? Poor Gwen. That'll do. Oh no. Woodville, no. I need to change the names on these characters. You can take a pick to the face. You can smite him with your almighty smiter. Cool. Ooh, item. Debuff charm. Nice. Beast Slayer's Ring. Quest complete. So there you go. The quest on here was to explore 90% of the rooms, or the room battles. We achieved that, but there is one room left, and I kind of want to explore it, so we'll keep going for now. But when you do complete the quest, you can click on the top left-hand corner at any time in order to return to the overworld. And it isn't just normal runs. I've given it a very base level showing of Darkest Dungeon. How many of those are going to be trapped without me? Oh, great.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Okay. Oh, nothing. I was expecting a battle. Okay, that's a bit of a letdown. So yeah, this is a very rudimentary look at Darkest Dungeon. Hope it's something that you enjoyed though. It's a very, very cool game. As we go to quest complete.
More bones return to rest. Devils remanded to their abyss.
So, when you complete said quest, you gain the victory quest rewards that were described before you go in. So there I got a chalice which I can equip to Gwen and that vessel I was using in the said quest, or I can equip to anything other. Any of the items that get left over get sold back to the provisioner, as well as all of the kind of trinkets, shall we say, that get given passed up. And then the heirlooms get handed over, which you can then use to upgrade your town. From there, you get experience for your characters, and sometimes they pick up new quirks. So, for example, Woodville just picked up Egomania, so she is now also an egotistical bitch. Happy days. But yeah, that is a base level look at Darkest Dungeon. I hope you enjoyed it, and to be honest with you, it is very cheap to get a hold of. I think it is only about £15, and so far in my Steam log, I think I've probably clocked up a good 12-13 hours from it, just by the very early levels. And if you look at the map, I've still got this Warrens to fully explore. I haven't touched the Weald or the Cove before I get a full massive party to go into the darkest of dungeons. But for now, I'm going to go back to the dankest estate. Hopefully, I've got a team that's ready to go for me, and I'm going to be diving straight back in. Anyway, been 52 Fridays. My name's CJ. Have a great wake. Have a great wake. Have a great wake if you fall asleep. Have a good week, and I will speak to you next Friday. Stay safe. Peace.